Hello everybody, what is going on? It's Gord here with another stream coming from you live from the world's edge here in Canada. Technically we're on TTS, but still, I'm in Canada and that's all that matters to me. Today we're bringing to you round 4 from the 3 Sales Team Super League. We have Bolton Skincare, also known as Chris Tran, playing off against Groosalugg in a Dance with Dragons. These guys are just getting ready. They're doing their roll-offs now for setting up terrain. They have their list picked. So let's just jump right in and see what they're doing up. Okay, guys, so here we are. Looks like we are seeing the list picked already. We have Bolton Skincare. Looks like he is running his Gregor list into Groosalugg's Mother of Dragons. Hello, Bob Homer in the chat. Welcome to the stream. I'm just going to quickly go over the list. Groos is pretty simple, so we're going to start with Bolton's first. So we have Gregor the Mountain, who is in a squad of Red Cloaks. Next we have Sandor, Clegane, in a squad of Pyromancers. Ooh, love that unit. We have another squad of Red Cloaks, just bare naked. And a squad of Bolton Flayed Men. And for NCUs, we see the lovely trio of the High Sparrow, Cersei Lannister, and Joffrey Baratheon. So Bolton Skincare here is going for that heavy panic. I love this Pyromancers pick here. They were one of my favorite units back in 1.6. I haven't had the chance yet to run them in 1.7, but I'm very much so looking forward to it. And we're going to check out what Groos has brought here. We see Mother of Dragons, Daenerys, in a unit of House Bolton Blackguards, sorry, I should pronounce those correctly. Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion, the 3 dragons we all know and love, or hate, depending on who you are. Tycho Notaurus, Illyrio Mopatis, and Barristan Selmy. Those are 3 very strong NCU picks. We're seeing kind of a different MOD list that I'm used to seeing. Usually, I have seen Mother of Dragons in a unit of pikemen, with Walder, Pyatt, and Illyrio as NCUs. Groos here is going for a more defensive healing list. He's got Barristan to cancel things, double the healing with both Illyrio and Tycho, and the Blackguards, although they are actually less defensive than the I can't think of the names for you now. Pikemen, the Unsullied Pikemen. They do save him that point to be able to bring in Barristan Selmy at 5 points. Hello, Daniel McLeod. Welcome to the stream. You're saying let's go Targs. Yeah, it'll be a very interesting match with Mother of Dragons versus Lannisters. The Lannisters do have the ability to put down some actual panic damage on these dragons. The Red Cloaks being able to take them down to a 5 without any other negative modifiers coming into it. So we can see a corpse pile pushing that to a 6, Hear Me Roar up to a 7, potentially even the Bolton Flayed Men pushing that up to failing on an 8. So although dragons seem like they're invulnerable to morale damage, I mean, this is anecdotal completely, but I have killed a dragon to panic. You can roll double ones on that test, even with a -1. So, even though Bolton Skincare is running a very panic-based damage list, he is not down and out yet. And it looks like we're seeing him place these corpse piles out to try to force through that extra damage. Groosalugg with pretty standard picks. A palisade, very, very handy for dragons. They're one of the few units that can hide behind the palisade. And with their flight ability, when they maneuver or march, they can hop back and forth over that to get their charges in, while remaining out of line of sight and unchargeable behind it. And a weirwood tree to counterbalance these corpse piles, likely to get his Blackguard unit with Dany up to a better morale test. He's going to be worried about her taking the damage from those red cloaks, I would say. Double checking some measurements here, trying to, see. I don't know if he's checking to see if these are within short range of each other. I'm not sure what that measurement there was. Or if he's looking at maneuvers. I believe Bolton Skincare here is choosing who will be deploying first. So he's likely just trying to see if he wants the side he's already on, or if he wants to flip that. And we're seeing the flip. So what we have not checked out yet is the objectives. So it looks like we have on the side with the Weirwood Tree the +1 card Ooh. I'm thinking that something wasn't properly... the corpse file here must not have been readied and locked down, so it didn't flip when they swapped sides. That must be what's going on here. Anyway, okay, objectives. On Groosalugg's right here, we have the +1 card when controlling objectives, and +1 hand size, +1 when refilling, sorry. The middle token is 1 unit in long range, becomes vulnerable when you score points off of it, and 1 unit in long range heals 1 wound +1 for each of its destroyed ranks. That one will be very big here. It's a potential 1 heal on a dragon, or if Bolton Skincare can get onto it himself, that can heal his red cloaks back up some of that damage that they'll be taking from from the dragons. We don't see the Walder pick from Mother of Dragons, so they won't be able to get that double tap of a unit. So it won't be the I charge a unit and it's almost guaranteed to die that I've seen in other Mother of Dragons lists. But I think that they'll be staying around a lot longer unless they get spiked down fast. Having deployment coming out now. We see Groosalugg coming into the center here with his dragons. Likely just getting them spaced out so that Dany can go right into the middle of the board. So far, Bolton Skincare has placed his Flayed Men in line with that center objective, and the naked Red Cloak unit on their flank. We're seeing Sandor's Pyromancer unit come down. I think these guys are going to be a big draw for a big boon for Bolton Skincare. Take a look at their card here. They get Vicious, which will be handy at pushing those dragons onto a 4+ morale test. And they also ignore defensive saves when attacking. So 7 dice, ignoring defensive saves is very big. I believe Sandor is only in this unit for a mixture of the Fueled by Slaughter to try to regain some of their ranks. They keep their 7 dice on 2 ranks, which is very good to keep that damage rolling. But the House Clegane affiliation is definitely the biggest boon that he's bringing there. It's a very strong 1 point in a Gregor the Mountain list. Assault orders in his deck, being able to let who is it here? Being able to let Clegane units, charge off the tactics board is a very, very strong pick. Yes, Bob is right. Pyros with Price of Failure is a very strong combination. I almost always forget that Gregor has that. He has Overrun, Price of Failure, and Assault Orders. 3 very strong, 3 very aggressive cards. And it looks like we are seeing the mountain coming down on Groosalugg's left flank. So he is putting Daenerys as far off to the right as he can. He's going to try to keep her out of the action. It looks like he's not going to be thinking about cards like Dracarys or Dragon's Flight, where usually you want to keep your mother dragons close to your dragons. Right, and it looks like everyone is fully deployed. Getting cards shuffled up. We're going to be determining first player here. I know Bolton Skincare was pretty worried about this game going into it. Mother Dragons is a very scary matchup. But I think it'll be a great game. So we see Groosalugg taking the first turn. And as his first activation, we see Barristan Selmy coming out and taking the Tactics Zone. Mother Dragons really needs her cards to really pop off. Promise of Fire is a very, very strong card, as well as Fire Made Flesh. With the Tactics Zone being taken, we are seeing the Flayed Men becoming weakened, and Barristan's influence coming down on Daenerys' unit. Next, we see the High Sparrow coming down onto the maneuver zone for Bolton Skincare. He will also be... potentially not. He is going to be influencing Viserys. Now, if you are like me, I gotta always double check. Viserys is the vulnerable dragon. So Viserys, vulnerable, Rhaegal is weakened, and Drogon is the panic dragon. Sorry, I just saw in chat there, #3 for better. That is 100% true. Division 3, best division. That is good friend Peter and teammate from the Got Boys. So with that maneuver from High Sparrow, we see the Flayed Men coming forward. Bob, yeah, I agree. Joffrey probably will influence Daenerys. I wasn't sure if he would put down Pycelle onto Daenerys' unit just to try to pull off that Selmy influence, try to get rid of it easy. Because even the heal from Pycelle is quite strong. So after that, we saw Tycho come down on the Crown, and he did a panic test, I believe, on the Red Cloaks, which was a pass. Peter says, I bring nothing else of value to this discussion. Well, Peter, as long as you're here and willing to watch and enjoy, I am happy with that. We see Joffrey coming down onto the bags, putting out the panic token on the Flayed Men, and healing off the weakened token. We do not see his influence come down. And I believe, if I'm not correct, oh no, it's just when he claims. I do not know why we don't see Joffrey's influence come down. Maybe he just forgot about it. But it would have likely gone on this unit here, the Blackguards with the Daenerys. Lastly, we saw Illyrio Mopatis come down on the swords, just filling up the space for burning activations, and Cersei null activating. This forces it back to Groosalugg, who is taking a movement here with the Mother of Dragons. Just a short little march. Looks like he's getting himself ready to move up to this objective here, controlling that. The +1 hand size is very strong, with the hard cap limit of a 5 card hand, sorry. That 6 card can really make a difference. At the start of Bolton Skincare's turn, we saw a Lannister pays his debts coming down on the naked red cloaks, and Gregor's unit is marching forward, just trying to stay out of range of this corpse pile, but ready to be able to jump onto the healing objective when he needs to. The Lannister pays his debts, very strong card. When a friendly infantry or cavalry unit is destroyed, they get an order token on the card. While the card has a token, the unit attached melee attacks gain vicious, and if you control the crown, a +1 to hit. That is very good for these naked red cloaks. The +1 to hit, making them hit on a 2+ with 7 dice, and giving them vicious, makes their standard melee attack more threatening on its own. Next, we are seeing Viserion activate. Groosalugg's just doing a simple trick here where he's just picking up the whole model. He knows he has more than enough range to move this far between his maneuver and his march. He's trying to come in and block it off so that the Mother of Dragons is currently unchargeable. You can see here the align. If you were to align 50% onto Mother of Dragons, it would put him over the corner here. I believe he's just double checking that things are out of arc. Trying to remain as unchargeable as possible over here on this right flank. I believe he's probably safe. I can't quite measure distances here. I do believe that it would be possible to get a 50% alignment on Viserion into this flank, but I could be wrong. Seeing some distances here measured, potentially? I'm not quite sure what Bolton Skincare is doing. We all know that this mod can sometimes have... Oh, probably just things weren't showing up for him quite properly. All props to Bartender. He did an amazing job on this mod. It's TTS that has the quirks to it. But yeah, sometimes units, their movement lines not showing up straight or not being able to maneuver. The weird trick we all know where we have to pivot back and forth. So I'm guessing that is what Bolton Skincare was doing there with his attack. And just trying to see where his line of sight is in his front arc to move his Pyromancers up. Just trying to stay out of range of this corpse pile. Yeah, Peter, I know you use that maneuver trick a lot. You were probably the first person I ever saw do it. It's definitely very handy for things like solos. I know you do it with your watch marshals quite a bit. Dragons, mountain that rides, anything that you're just trying to get into a fiddly place that you don't want to have to do your pivot, your maneuver, your pivot. It's technically not the right way to do it, but everyone knows that you have enough movement and you can move through your own unit, so it doesn't matter. You can go anywhere in that circle. So we are seeing Drogon activate next. He is coming over in behind the Mother of Dragons here. I am quite surprised actually that he is pulling all to this flank. It looks like he is going to be essentially giving up that center objective for the foreseeable future. I don't know if his plan is to attack from behind this palisade, keep himself safe, and charge out and around. We see Bolton Skincare now activating his naked red cloaks. They're marching forward here. I believe he's trying to get himself in a position that Viserion will not be able to get into his flank to charge them. Yeah, so he's just double checking, and it looks like we're going to zoom in real close here. If you were to line 50% in the front, now there's a weird gap here between the trays. I don't know if that's just my screen showing it, but it did not look like Viserion would be able to charge the front of that unit without landing on the palisade. Peter saying MOD can only really table in the game mode, right? No. MOD, I mean, if she sits on this objective, she can camp that 2 points a turn. Being able to then kill a unit, have things like Promise of Fire out, which, like I said earlier, is a very strong card. You want to be killing things with dragons anyway, so gaining an additional victory point for doing something you want to do is always very, very strong. But it does come down to Daenerys being able to hold an objective for the game, for the entirety of the game, and the dragons being able to pick off 1 or 2 units and potentially claim an objective near the end. Alright, so they're still having that same strange issue with the in the middle, but Viserion will be able to charge into the front of those red cloaks without landing on the palisades. So I don't think Bolton Skincare is going to push them quite that far forward. That's not a great spot for them to be in off the bat. He's just maneuvering them up 5 instead. Let's hide those options there. Or, yeah, it looks like he's just trying to move up as far as he can while still being a relatively safe distance away from Viserion. Make him need to pull away from other dragons where he gets his buffs like Dracarys from, and things like Dragon's Flight for the additional movement shenanigans. Lastly, for Groosalugg, we see Rhaegal activating, flying up over to this flank. Bring himself in an unchargeable position against this palisade, a very common play for dragons. Palisades are so strong for that. He knows that he can clear the palisade with his maneuver, so it will not hinder him any, but it is saving him from both being able to be charged, and not that Bolton Skincare's range is overly close with the Pyromancers, but it will protect him likely from most line of sight shooting. So we're going to see the last activation here come out from Bolton Skincare. being the House Bolton Flayed Men. Now this vulnerable only comes down when scoring off it, so even if he does control and claim it this round, he will not score it until the start of round 2, so he can't start putting out those vulnerable tokens until round 2. We do see him moving here closer into the middle. Yes, Peter, yeah, the 50-50 victory points from objectives and killing things. That's where the real power, I find, comes from Mother of Dragons. She has the killing power that you don't need to go for objectives. You can kill 2 to 3 units, and between her Promise of Fire card and her sitting on objective for 2 to 3 turns, you can easily get to that 10 victory points. I know in my own personal games, I have been running a Horde Greyjoy list, with the only saving grace in my games being that I have been able to hold more objectives than Mother of Dragons, and been able to kill at least one dragon through the course of the game, to kind of get myself enough points to contend with the Mother of Dragons. So we see here the Bolton Flayed Men coming out and across in front of the Red Cloaks. I think he is trying to put himself in a position that he will not be able to be charged by Targaryen. Peter saying don't let it out of strategy. Yeah, right now Assault Orders is out of play. Both of the Clegane units are on this left flank. If they're both getting 2 points around, Chris wins. Potentially yes, but because the dragons have so much stronger killing power, it is easier for them to get that extra point or two to put them over the edge. Charles Tran saying, blocking charges, what a power gamer. I know, these guys are both filthy power gamers right now, aren't they? So what I believe we are seeing here, we had the maneuver, is these House Bolton Flayed Men are trying to work their way into getting a charge on the front. I believe this will be the front. It's hard to tell without, I can't quite see the arrow on the tray, but I believe it is the front of Rhaegal. It would make the most sense for Groosalugg to have positioned in a way that his rear would be unchargeable, and you'd have to come around to his front. So that is likely just Bolton Skincare measuring out, making sure that he can get that charge off as his first activation for the next round. And we see we are on to round 2. Bolton Skincare will have the first activation of this round. See him drawing up another card. The question is, will we see that play? The biggest risk from that is if Fire Made Flesh can come down and Groosalugg will be free to take the swords, then he will have a bare minimum of 2 attacks onto Rhaegal from these Flayed Men. Sorry, he will have 2 attacks onto the Flayed Men from Rhaegal alone. So it looks like we are seeing the maneuver coming out. He's going to be going for that charge. making sure that he is in the proper arc with the maneuver first. And we're measuring it out. It'll be an automatic in, so the die will only need to be rolled to see if it is disorderly. And we see a dragon's flight coming down. Bolton Skincare has ended that maneuver in short range of Daenerys' unit. So one dragon will get to perform a free maneuver action. I could very likely see Rhaegal maneuvering back into a safer position. And then we will have to see what Bolton Skincare decides to do with these Flayed Men. If he tries to go for a charge onto Daenerys' Blackguard, maybe. Or if he goes to try to do a large hit. Oh, and we see a counterplot coming out. Cannot forget those tricky Lannister counterplots. So we're looking for a 3+. The crown is not held. The 3+ goes off, and Dragon's Flight is cancelled. The Groosalugg will not be able to get that free maneuver. They're just coming down, and we do see the 1. It will be a disordered charge. Not at all what Bolton Skincare wants to see at this point. That means no tactics cards coming out. He will lose his rerolls. He does claim that objective, but it will only be 7 dice on a 3+, and critical blow. He will not get the rerolls, and no tactics cards from hand. For a total of only 4 hits. Yeah, I agree, Bob. It's always those short charges you can never fail that end up being the disorderly. So from the attack, we see only 2 wounds coming down onto Viserion, and a fire-made flesh coming out, which will turn that into a single wound. So I think Chris is deciding. It looks like no, he's not going to be playing another counterplot. Whether he has another counterplot, I do not know. So this will be putting the panic test on Rhaegal at a -3, so passing on a 5 currently with +1 wounds from intimidating presence. The Weirwood and Corpse Pile are cancelling each other out. Not sure why Bolton Skincare gave himself 2 victory points there. Must have been just a misclick. That's enough ones to tilt Chris. Yeah, a big ones on the attack can be very, very difficult to come back from. Best part of 6+ YOLO charges, they are never disorderly. I agree with you on that one. I probably don't make my the 6+ YOLO charges. I love doing them just because they're kind of ridiculous. But they are fun. But you are 100% right. You will never be disorderly on a 6+ charge. I agree, Charles. I'm surprised that the Fire Made Flesh came out on that. He only takes a single wound. Seems to have taken 3 wounds there. The 5, unless he must be out of range of this Weirwood then. So that 5 must have forced the fail in the panic test, doing a full 3. I thought he'd be in range, but not quite. We see Barristan coming down onto the swords. Barristan will be influencing Rhaegal, and Rhaegal will likely be doing this free attack onto these Flayed Men. I don't fully disagree with you on that, Bob. Being so aggressive can be dangerous into Mother of Dragons. but he might feel like he needs to be, knowing how much damage that Mother Dragon can put out. If he can pin her back here, and oh my god, we see it, the double ones on the attack from Rhaegal. Rhaegal still will put out the weakened token, but that is huge. That is very huge for Bolton Skincare. Carlo, the ones on his attack might have tilted Chris, but I'm thinking that those double ones on the attack for Groose just brought it right back. Yeah, I agree. He must have it in hand. I would not be surprised to see Joffrey come down next onto the bags, block that healing, get the attack from the Flayed Men here onto Rhaegal, and potentially I was assuming he would have a price of failure. You have 2 dragons in range of his Flayed Men, leaving himself open to get triple tap. Yeah. This is definitely a game of 1 so far. It looks like we're seeing Pycelle come down for the retreat. So, no... what is the word I'm looking for? No assault orders coming out. Chris must have just done that charge to steal the objective. That must have been the whole plan, to get in there, steal the objective, and then get away. Peter, what happens if both players are tilted? Everyone's just angry about all the rolls. Nobody wins. Everyone's always losing. I agree. Charles, all you gotta do is just roll 6s. I have learned to do the exact opposite. I generally just roll 1s, but I've learned not to be tilted from it, because if you expect to only roll 1s, you can never get mad. Carlo, looks like you are headed out. Thanks for stopping by for the chat. And he says good luck to both, and it seems like everyone needs it due to the rolling. So yes, we saw the retreat come out from High Sparrow, but once again, he is not remembering his influences. That was a cheeky little objective steal. I do agree, Peter. So we see intrigue and subterfuge coming out when Tygon Taurus is played. So he will have, not 100%, he will have no abilities. He does not claim the wealth. And okay, here we see High Sparrow coming down onto the Mother of Dragons. So Tycho will be interesting to see. Likely going to come down, yeah, on the tactic zone there. He knows that he can get the heal with Illyrio, no matter what. So no point in wasting Tycho onto the bags right now. It does look like, however, though, Groose forgot to put the weakened token from the attack from Rhaegal out. And also did not put out a token for grabbing the letters with Tycho Taurus. Sorry, Nestoris. I've been pronouncing that wrong this whole time. Yeah, he did not put a token out for claiming the letters with Tycho, as these Flayed Men were panicked from Joffrey's original activation. Overall, that's a 3 victory point swing for him. He gets 1 and Danny doesn't score 2. Very likely it is. Ooh, and we see a crown zap from Joffrey coming down. Joffrey had to influence Rhaegal because, sorry, not Illyrio. High Sparrow is on Daenerys' unit. for a total of 3 wounds. That is a very, very good panic test there. Sorry, Peter, back to you. He can still... Groose can still steal that objective with an attack. All he has to do is force a failed panic test to be able to grab that objective back. He will not be able to outrank. But he can get it back. He just won't... It's at the very least a 1 point... A 1 point swing in... a 1 point swing in Bolton Skincare's favor. And yes, Rhaegal should have put out the weaken token on the attack, but he must have forgotten to do that in the heat of it. Lastly, we saw Illyrio come down onto the bags using the heal to bring Rhaegal back up to full health. And Cersei just burning her activation. Looks like we see Dany moving up here, getting in better range of those Flayed Men. She'll likely want to be able to charge in there to steal that objective back from them. From simply doing an attack, she will steal the objective, as the Flayed Men only have 2 ranks. But it looks like she's trying to make sure that he is out of range of these red cloaks. The attack has to generate hits to hit, and you cannot. Oh, you are right, Charles. I did not see that stipulation. It's only when hits are generated. Sorry, that's my bad. I thought it was just when they attacked, they put it down, but you, Peter, and Charles are both correct. The hits need to be generated. Same with for causing the wounds. So you saw Mother of Dragons come up here. Looks like she's trying to line up for a charge onto these Flayed Men. Trying to steal that objective back. And just stay out of range of these red cloaks. I have only won once against Mother of Dragon, actually, Peter, in this league. It was a very close second game. I think the final score was 11-8 for Daryl from NRG. It was a fantastic game. I believe he recorded it. I don't know if he'll be uploading that or not, but if he does, I highly recommend anyone who's interested in playing Greyjoys into Mother of Dragons, check it out. It was a fantastic game, and it was right down to the last turn, last activation. I probably have done that. It's hard to say whether or not I actually have, but yeah. Sometimes you just gotta read a full card. So we saw Gregor Clegane and his red cloaks march forward onto this objective, claiming that will put him at a significant lead at the end of this round. He'll be scoring 2 points there, and a potential 1, if not 2 more, between the Flayed Men's token and the center objective, which he currently doesn't have anything that can get on it, I suppose. Yes, Peter, you are the only one who won last week. You're definitely not bragging at all with that one. So we see here, Viserion is charging into the front of the Flayed Men. I don't believe a die was rolled, so we're going to roll it off here to make sure that it is not. And we see a 6 come out, so it is not a disorder charge. Oh, that is almost another failure. Rolling this here to make sure. Yep, so that is definitely 2 hits, which will cause D3 plus 1 automatic wounds, and this will put out the vulnerable token. So these Flayed Men will be taking a total of 5 wounds. They are in short range of this weirwood tree, so they'll be taking their panic test at a -1, putting them on a 7+ between the vicious and the weirwood tree. They are still panicked from the first activation of Joffrey. See the test coming down here, and that's a big pass on an 11. We'll likely see that panic token spent. Yep, there goes the panic token. And rolling these dice back up. For another pass on an 8. That's very good in Bolton Skincare's advantage. And he still will have to take another charge, likely from Rhaegal. But that is not an automatic kill onto the Flayed Men. And dragons only count as a single rank for the purpose of controlling objectives. So even if he does take the Flayed Men down to 1 rank, he will not be able to steal the objective from them without a failed panic test as well. We are seeing Sandor's Pyromancers activate. They are maneuvering towards this center objective, it would seem. Trying to line it up so that he can get onto this objective, likely next round, and hopefully get some potential assault order charges or some short range attacks off onto these dragons here. Back to Groosalugg's activation. He will have the last activation of this round. I would not be surprised if he were to activate Drogon, knowing that it will keep Rhaegal safe. Oh, he's looking to see. So Bolton Skincare will be able to block a charge if Drogon activates first. So it looks like we are seeing Drogon activate coming up forward here. Getting in the spot that he will be an automatic charge into the Red Cloaks. If he needs to, if he decides to do that, I'm not sure if he's planning on charging. Yeah, it looks like he's trying to basically remain safe from a potential charge from the Red Cloaks. Be able to get into the flank, I believe, on his next activation with Drogon to charge these Flayed Men. Even though he knows he will not be able to charge the Flayed Men in the front if Bolton here maneuvers these Red Cloaks into position to block the front of their tray. Bob, welcome back. Saying, holy crap, what happened here? The TLDR, I would say, is Dragon whiffed attack. Flayed Men got out and then were charged, and pass their panic test. So we are seeing quite a cluster here on Groos's right flank. No, no dragons are dead yet. They are currently all at full health. Token on dragon. The win though, there's only one VP per round. You can't pass the token to Danny. That is very true. If a dragon is holding the objective, that means that Daenerys is not holding it and is essentially one less victory point around for Groosalugg. I think we're seeing some tray issues again coming out here. But these red cloaks are maneuvering up just enough to block the charge onto these Flayed Men, I believe, and likely make sure that they cannot be charged on their own. Yeah, I agree, Charles. Looks like he just wants to double check. It does look like this is being blocked off here by the red cloaks. It's a very cheeky play, but very, very strong. And with this maneuver, he will not be able to be charged in the front either because of this palisade. Sam, dragons do not actually count as remaining wounds for ranks in contesting in this game mode. They only count as remaining ranks in game modes where there are set objectives on the board that cannot be picked up. So both Dance of Dragons and A Feast for Crows solos only count as a single rank. Yes, Charles, safer. Here, I'll bring it up quickly here on the side. You can see that solos it does not say here under the special rules, they count as their remaining ranks. When he pulled back, he was being awfully brave. Yeah, I do agree. It looks like Groos here is trying to get Rhaegal into the flank. Hit that highlight again. I don't think that Rhaegal will be able to fit into the flank. I think he's just outside the flank of the... Oh. Maybe he was in the flank there? That must have been a pivoting error on Bolton Skincare's part when he maneuvered them in. Yeah, I agree. That did look like the front to me as well. But I'm not in the game. I can't. This is just what I see from my perspective. I agree to you though. That looked like it was front, and I believe that Chris's intention, would have been for the charge to have to be in the front. My only thought is he is just checking this out to see what his charge would be like as his first activation next round. Nope, he is going for it. Chris did give him the flank charge. Yeah. So this will be a flank charge onto his red cloaks. So we see the charges coming in. It is not disorderly, and we see 2 hits coming out for a 4 wounds. More perpendicular to the arc. That's alright if the dragon doesn't kill that red cloak. The first activation next round, those pyros can nuke the crap out of it. Yeah. Only doing 4 wounds here. The panic test will be the kicker. It's at a -3 currently. So passing on a 9+. So that will be a failure for only 2 wounds. But 6 wounds left is potentially enough to kill the unit just by the outright attack without putting the panic token or panic test down. Yeah, I gotta agree with you there on that one, Charles. It did look like he shouldn't have been able to hit the flank. Even if it did look close, that's something that Chris likely intended to not be able to happen. He had more room to pivot, but that's not what we saw, and they let it go, so I have to agree with them. So end of round 2, we see Bolton Skincare scoring 3 points, and Groosalugg scoring none. And Groos will have the first activation. So we see Barristan coming down onto the swords. He is influencing Sandor's unit, it looks like. Likely so that he will not... Oh, no, he is influencing the Flayed Men. I'm surprised he's not influencing Sandor. So that he wouldn't be able to be targeted by things like Price of Failure or Assault Orders. Yeah, I agree. In game, if you and your opponent agree on something, whether or not that is the 100% true ruling, if you can agree in game, that's better than not. Oh, very close to seeing another double ones come out from that dragon attack, but that is a hit, and we're seeing the D3 plus 3 damage come down, only dealing 4 wounds. So the unit is left alive with 2 wounds left, and they need to pass this panic test. An 8 is a failure, but only taking a single wound. That is very big for Chris. That keeps the unit alive on a single wound. That stops this dragon from being able to surge forth. Whew, that's very good for... Yeah, I agree, Charles. That's a very big one. Rhaegal putting out his weakened token from the first attack onto these Pyromancers, and the weakened from the second attack down onto these Flayed Men. Although it looks somewhat grim for Chris Bolton here, with his what he has left on the board, he has made some very good moves, and got some rather good luck on those 2 attacks. He's in quite a strong position already. I don't think we're going to see an assault orders come down because of Barristan Selmy. Wait, no. Even with Barristan Selmy, he's not being targeted by an ability or a tactics card. He's being targeted by the zone. The tactics card replaces the zone's effect, and Barristan cannot stop a tactics zone from hitting, like, from influencing a unit. So we see Promise of Fire coming down when Bolton Skincare decides to activate a unit. And it looks like he's going to be putting it down onto these red cloaks. So we see High Sparrow activating. High Sparrow activating, taking the crown. No, he's going to be taking the bags. Very smart play. I don't think he knows exactly what he wants to do there. And the assault order's coming out. So, Charles, you called it. That's coming down, and Sandor will be charging into Rhaegal. Now I'm just going to read the timing of Promise of Fire. They suffer 1 panic test. So they should be taking that panic test right now. So Peter, technically, the target of the assault orders is the zone, the NCU zone. So because the zone is not an ability or tactics card, it cannot be removed by Barristan Selmy. So you see the charge coming out here. We rolling up at 2, so that will be in. I'm not sure if he was in flank or rear. I believe that it was a rear. Yep. So we see him coming into the rear. Oh, he rolled a 9? Okay, sorry, I missed that. That's my bad. The charge coming into the rear here on Rhaegal. And we're going to see some rerolls coming out here. For a total of 7 hits. 7 hits. So they all hit there. Missing 3 in total. So 4 hits. So 4 potential automatic... They are not automatic wounds. 4 hits with no defense saves allowed. The Pyromancers will take a single wound from rolling their 1, and then heal a wound from Fueled by Slaughter, which is a fantastic combination. If we don't see a Fire Made Flesh come out here, that'll be 4 wounds onto this dragon. And then a panic test at a -3, so a pass and a 5+. And the High Sparrow came down to influence Rhaegal. So if he fails this test, it will be more wounds healed up onto the red cloaks here in the front of Rhaegal. Yes. Sorry, Peter. I should have known that you were obviously making a joke. Yeah, targeting is very, very strange. It could be made more simple. It's made just complicated enough that it is annoying. We have not seen the panic test come down on Rhaegal yet. I'm not quite sure why. Alright, so here we see it coming up. This will be passing on a 5, I do believe. So that is a failure, dealing just a single wound. I do not believe they have Intimidating Presence. Nope. So just a single wound from that. So 5 wounds total taken on the dragon, and 1 wound will be healed from the High Sparrow. That potential will go on to... Is it short or long range? In long range, I wouldn't be surprised to put that on the Flayed Men. Dragon saving on a 5. He does not take defense saves from the Pyromancers. But he did fail the panic test on a 5. Yeah, he just rolled out a 3, dealing 1 damage. And yes, he decides to heal the single wound onto his Flayed Men over here. I think if he had rolled bigger, he might have put it onto the red cloaks, but just a single wound healed on them is not enough to save them from Rhaegal. We are back to Groosalugg's activation. He needs to kill off this unit of red cloaks before he loses a dragon, or else he will lose the Promise to Fire. We see the attacks coming down. It is an automatic kill. He's taking his 2 points. He'll be dealing D3 plus 3 automatic wounds. So those red cloaks are immediately destroyed. And he puts the weakened token back down onto the Pyromancers. Yeah, Sandor does go pretty well into those Pyromancers. It is very ironic. The only thing I don't like about putting him in there is you lose out on the Furious Charge. You don't really care about the vulnerable token, as you're not you deal hits that cannot be saved by defensive saves. So I think the big question now is, will Bolton Skincare grab the maneuver zone to block it? So that way Rhaegal cannot activate and try to hold off on actually activating. Yes, it looks like that's what's coming out here. I would not be surprised to see Cersei on to that maneuver, and potentially using an order token to pick up a Hear Me Roar. It can be used by other units. I like the ability to use it on the unit that charged, but yes, Charles, it looks like Tycho was just burned to heal up Rhaegal there. That would have been the Tycho Notorious once per game 5 heal. Yeah, you're right, Sam. That is where something like a Price of Failure would have been fantastic for Bolton Skincare. Yeah, a heal onto the bags is a very good call, Charles. But I think he wants cards, yeah. Oh, maybe not. And we're seeing, yeah. So we're seeing Cersei come down onto the tactics zone, drop some cards. I think what he's doing here now is he's trying to fish for that Price of Failure. Because forcing through the attacks onto Rhaegal with the Price of Failure has a very, very strong chance of just killing him in a single attack. And this also allows Cersei to take out an Intrigue and Subterfuge. Sorry, not Intrigue and Subterfuge. Why do I forget the name? Subjugation of Power, sorry, and Hear Me Roar. Sorry, just a Hear Me Roar, not a Subjugation of Power, because he does not control the Wealth Zone. And we see a Panic token coming down on Rhaegal. So far, a Fealty to the Crown has been discarded, a Cannock Plot was used, an Intrigue and Subterfuge, and the Lannister pays his debts was removed, as well as an Assault Orders. We see Groosalugg activating Tycho Notorious, Nestorus. And he is claiming the bags. I think he's going to be doing this just to remove the Panic token on Rhaegal here. Does Danny have a Dracarys? Danny has not played one yet, so potentially in hand, or right now. I didn't see him burn Daenerys's order. That's a trap. It literally can't kill the dragon in one shot, not enough dice. Not statistically like to fail panic, though it has happened once. Just holding that token, though, move the needle to a win. So we are seeing Tycho instead come down onto the maneuver. A 5 was rolled, and Rhaegal is getting the heck out of dodge. Charles, no, the Pyros only have 7 attack dice. It would have to be through a failed panic test. So it would be the vicious flank attack with a hear me roar that he just grabbed from Cersei would be what he has to do to force through the full 8 wounds onto the dragon. Even still, that is only putting the test at a 6+. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, a 6+ with a panic token. Still, I think that's less than a 50% pass rate. Or sorry, more than a 50% pass rate. I don't know the odds off the top of my head, but that is not a statistically likely thing to happen. Looks like we're going to see another promise of fire come down. When Joffrey decides to activate here. You don't bet on a 35% chance. Yeah. I agree. I potentially would, because it's make or break. Wait a minute. No, he would not want to do that because he has the Sony Act for influence on him. So even if he did grab the price of failure, he could cancel it with the Selmy influence. Yes, it did work out anyway because the dragon retreated, which leaves him free and open to grab this objective. So it looks like we have Viserion activating now to attack into these Flayed Men, dealing 4 wounds. Potentially the retreat, if he can hold the objective here, which he fails, for another 2 wounds. So this is where it becomes tricky. He needs to heal these Flayed Men and attack. Well, that's even still tricky. He can't heal because he has no room on the tactics board left. So he will just need to either retreat with these Flayed Men or attack and hope for a failed panic. So it looks like he's going for the retreat just to keep them safe. And pivoting so that Drogon will not be able to charge into his front, and likely also not into his flank. Why did he pass? I'm not sure you mean by why did he pass. He failed the panic test on a 4 there and took 2 wounds. Oh, with Joffrey. I believe he passed there because he didn't want to take the promise of fire, which likely would have come down onto the Flayed Men, knowing that he didn't have a way to kill a dragon, and a dragon had a good chance of killing the Flayed Men for the additional essentially 2 points for killing a unit. Yeah, sorry. So when Joffrey activated, Groosalugg played a Promise of Fire, and Joffrey decided to not claim a zone on the tactics board so that he would not have to take the effect of Promise of Fire. It looks like these Flayed Men are going to be retreating essentially as far back as they can, is what that roll was there. Just retreating the 1 inch is not enough to get Drogon out of his flank from the charge. So I think essentially what's just happening here, the retreat happened. He doesn't want Drogon to be able to get into his flanks because Drogon still has to activate, and we don't know if there's a Dracarys. No, the card did not get to attach because Joffrey did not take an objective. Grease's activation here, it looks like we are potentially going to see Drogon charging into these Pyromancers. That charge, it would not necessarily stop. If he comes 50% to this side of the Pyromancers, there's a chance that with a retreat he would not be able to land on the objective token, but there's no guarantee of that. It's hard to say what is being measured out here right now. We do know that retreat was definitely a good idea. We don't know if Groosalugg has a Dracarys, where the Mother of Dragons has not activated yet. So it looks like, yes, Drogon is going to be charging, like I said, into this side of the 50% of the Pyromancers. We still seem to have that little bug where they're sitting just slightly out of range. So he'll need to roll a decent retreat on their activation to get onto this objective if that's what he plans to do. We see the 6 being rolled up here to see if it's disorderly. It is not. He gets 2 hits, which in turn will deal 4 wounds to these Pyromancers and make them become panicked. Their panic test will be at a 6. They're in short range of this corpse pile. So there's an additional -1 from the flank. So on a 10 plus for the panic test. That is a failure for another 3 wounds coming out. He will get to heal them though with Gregor, so they will be healing a bare minimum of 3 wounds at the end of this round. I think that we are very likely to see these Pyromancers retreat, grab this objective, and pivot to be 1 inch away from Drogon, coming essentially forward. That way he'll be holding still, getting 3 points this turn. And he will have first activation next round for the potential to charge into Drogon as his first activation. Now, he did not take the horrific Visage from the melee attack onto the Pyromancers. I don't know if that was just forgotten about, but that is something worth noting. Okay. Surprising twist. It looks like Bolton Skincare is going to be aligning and attacking with these Pyromancers. I'm very surprised that he's not going for the objective grab. He knows that Drogon is outside of range for the Dracarys. And he's not even retreating in a way that he could grab the objective if he goes that way. First Greg, activate Pyra's attack, then Swords top the next turn. We fight that. Going for the dragon kill. Yeah, I'm surprised he's going for the dragon kill right off. With the weakened token now and not going for the guaranteed objective. I guess maybe he doesn't have a assault order in hand. Yeah, because he has the weakened token on. And we'll still see 3 hits coming through. But he will take 2 wounds himself and only heal back 1. I guess that's kind of best of both worlds for Bolton Skincare though, because he will still heal 4 when scoring with Gregor, so he will still have the 7 attacks. We're seeing a Hear Me Roar come down on the panic test here. So that puts the panic test onto a 5+. But with no panicked token, it's just a flat 5+, and on a fail, it'll be +1 additional wound. So that is a pass on a 7. You ought to kill the dragon next turn and don't have to deal with Barry. 7, I mean... Yeah, Illyrio had not activated yet. Illyrio onto the bags. To heal those 3 wounds right back up. Unless he has Price of Failure. Or some other way to deal an auto wound. Drogon potentially lives with 1 wound here. You now see Gregor activating. He's doing just a little maneuver. He wants to stay just within long range of the Pyromancers so that he can give them their heal. They'll be healing 4 wounds off his objective. Yeah, not taking the zone with Joffrey. Yeah. That's a tough call. He probably should have taken the zone with Joffrey. It would have healed up these Flayed Men. And they still would have been able to do that retreat. So that, I believe, is the last activation for Bolton Skincare. And Groose still has an activation from the Mother Dragon's left. See if Mother Dragons is planning on just basically moving in here, kind of into the center area. Yeah, it's a pivot. And to be maneuvering in. Make sure she's in better range of for her cards. They only have a 4 movement. Exactly, yeah. Would have blocked the Dragon Heal. The Promise of Fire would be on the Flayed Men. Potentially the Pyromancers, but likely the Flayed Men, as they were likely to get double tapped. It's only 1 extra point though. And if he was able to kill off Drogon with the double tap on this turn, he would get the point and remove. Yeah, Promise of Fire, he should have just went with it because he could have gotten the point here, like Charles said, if he had a Price of Failure, top of turn 4, or round 4, auto killing the dragon, and he gets the bonus point, removing Promise of Fire instead of Groosalugg. I believe that's how it works. If one of your Drogon, Rhaegal, or Viserion unit is destroyed, remove this card, and your opponent gains 1 victory point. Hello, hello! Welcome, West Coast Bannerman. Thank you for joining the stream. And yeah, hindsight is always 20/20. Much easier to make that call now, especially for me sitting here, seeing everything that's going on. It's much easier to make the call when you're not actually in the game. So this should be the end of round 3 here. Scoring things up, it will be 5-3 for Bolton Skincare. And those Pyromancers will be back up to 2 full ranks once we see these objectives scored. Groosalugg is now controlling, though, the objective for +1 hand size. And if he does not have a Fire Made Flesh, he could very likely just discard his whole hand to draw 4. Prompts Fire in play. I think he still would have been Peter. Yeah. He either would have had to commit the second dragon to the Flayed Men, which the Flayed Men retreated, and lets the Pyros free to score, or he has to come for the Pyros and then risk losing them here. So I think they're just scoring up objectives now. Those Pyromancers will be healing up 4. I think he's trying to see if they were trying to decide if the objective counts as an ability. That is a very steep question, and this is where Target, it would be very nice to know. Yes, yeah. That is a very rough question with no real good answer. So we see some cards being discarded here. We see an overrun and a bribery coming out. And we see a Dragon's Flight being discarded by Groose. Yeah. It looks like they have decided that it is not an ability that can be blocked by Barry, but they have only, for some reason, healed 3 and not the full 4, because it's +1 wound for each of its destroyed ranks, and they had 2 full destroyed ranks, so they should have healed. Oh, sorry, 1 wound +1 for each destroyed rank. Sorry, I was reading that as 2 wounds +1 for each destroyed rank. That is my bad. I agree with you on that one, Peter. I know our Targaryen player, Artonas, decided not to bring Barristan just because he did not want to have that argument of target. Just easier on the brain if you don't have to deal with it. So at the start of the turn, we see blood of the dragon come down onto Daenerys' unit. And Groosalugg, Bolton Skincare will have the first activation. Oh, it looks like a sudden retreat was also discarded. How? Groosalugg still has 4 cards in hand after playing a card. Oh, he brought back a Promise of Fire with Daenerys' ability. And we see a counterplot coming out to try to block that Promise of Fire. The counterplot actually fails, so Promise of Fire is out and alive on the board. This makes a big play for Groosalugg here, being able to get that Promise of Fire back into the game. So we see High Sparrow coming out onto the swords, Promise of Fire coming down onto the Pyromancers, and High Sparrow will be influencing Drogon. Yes, I agree, take it anyway. He needs that free attack. Hopefully he has a Price of Failure. And what a pass on a 12. I don't blame you for cheering when counterplot fails. So that is 3 wounds taken from the failed panic test, which is not at all what Bolton Skincare wants to see. He's realigning 50%. I believe he is now down to just 4 attack dice. Yes, just 4 attack dice. Fuel by Slaughter comes out after the attack, so he will not even be able to heal back up to full ranks to get those 7 attack dice now. Only a single hit, and the weakened token coming off. Still a single hit. He should, heal 1, deal 1 to himself between Fuel by Slaughter and the Pyromancers dropping their fire. This is not good for Bolton Skincare here. That failure of the panic test on a 3 really puts a wrench into things for him. The panic test on the Pyromancer, on the dragon from the attack is a pass. Passing on a 4+. Pyromancers vs. Dragon is pretty cool. There is a potential for some major damage spikes to come out. You missed some pretty wild attacks earlier, but with the very large amount of healing that Groosalugg has, he was able to bring... He's been able to keep his dragons at full health almost his entire time. So we see a sudden retreat coming out onto Drogon. Oh, for a very cheeky move here, he has retreated 1 inch away. The Pyromancers will not be able to pivot. Likely, we're going to see Drogon activate here, grab this objective, and then charge into the flank of the Pyromancers. For a total of a 2-point kill. And then he will be also scoring 2 points off victory, or off objectives. All he needs to do is outkill, just essentially kill 1 more unit, and he will finish the game scoring up higher. Yeah, so here we have Drogon activating. Now, he did not perform the maneuver. I'm assuming that his plan was to maneuver onto that objective. Talked it out. Yes, West Coast Bannerman, only 1 wound onto Drogon currently. With 4 attack dice hitting on 3s, he was only able to... Bolton Skincare was only able to manage 1 wound onto the dragon. We see the Disorder Charge coming out. No, sorry, the Charge Roll Die. Charge coming out. That is most definitely a hit. That's a weakened on. Oh, that was the panic test for being attacked. And the Pyromancers are destroyed by the attack automatically. Now Drogon is hopping back just to claim this objective. Attack. That was HV. Attack, so it's still attacks. That hit. Yes, Drogon does have 1 wound on him. I'm not quite sure what you were trying to say there, Charles. It still attacks. That hit. I think I'm not sure if you mean the Pyromancers. Yes, they still are hits. They're attacks that hit. I am saying automatic wounds. They're not. They are hits that ignore defense saves, which is a very, very important distinction. Dragons perform automatic wounds. Pyromancers are hits that cannot be blocked. Promise of Fire being removed, and the 2 points taken there from Groosalugg. So, I agree, Charles. Those Flayed Men need to be healed. If not, I mean, he needs to heal them and then get them away from Groosalugg's dragons. Because he is, I believe, right now in range to be double tapped by dragons, which will kill them. I don't know if he is planning... He might be planning on charging that dragon and trying to heal it off the failed panic test. Okay, Yes, yes, that's what it was. Horrific visage. Okay. Yes. They forgot the roll the first time, so I completely forgot that they had it. So we are seeing Cersei activate. Best move is probably to take the bags. He will still be able to be double charged by dragons, but he needs those extra wounds. Yeah. Be able to get rid of that. Healing up 3, and then removing likely the weakened token, so that he is able to do a charge and hopefully steal. We do not see Cersei coming down. Is he going to go for this charge onto Rhaegal? I think he's going for the riskier play, which, well, it's the riskier play. That's about all I can say there. He's going for the charge onto Rhaegal. And I think he's going to hope for a heal off a failed panic test at this point. You see the charge roll coming in. I'm not sure the distance it needs to be, but that is most definitely in. He's still only at a single rank though. What is that, 5 dice? 4 dice on a 3+. So this isn't even enough to... Unless he spikes damage, rolls 4 6s after the weakened token, this isn't enough to kill the dragon, and he needs to be able to get the failed panic to actually steal the objective. I think this is just a gambit play at this point. Trying to make a big play. Re-rolling the failed here on the attack. So that will be 6 hits, but the weakened token will most definitely be spent. For a total of 5 hits. Still big. It'll be 5 5+ saves. Passing 1, so taking 4 wounds. It looks like we are not seeing another fire-made flesh come out here. And there it is. So he'll only take 2 wounds from this. And then a panic test at a -4 total, so on a 6+. Potentially we will see a Hear Me Roar come down. No, we don't see Hear Me Roar, so on a 6+, no panicked token, so that is most definitely a pass. The gambit by Chris has not quite paid off. Alright, so now we see Viserion activating, looks like. Not sure if he's activating or... Yep, it looks like he's going to be activating. I'm trying to go for the kill onto these Flayed Men. They only have 4 wounds remaining, so a single attack will be able to finish them off. Because these Flayed Men only have a single rank, they do not steal the objective from Drogon. They have to have more remaining ranks. So he needed Drogon to fail the panic test there to actually be able to grab that objective. Shouldn't be able to reach with that speed 2. That is correct, speed 2. I keep forgetting about that. I mean, Rhaegal can most definitely get in there, but yeah, speed 2 will stop Viserion from getting in, but will not stop Rhaegal from getting in. Looks like Groose is trying to just hop over this palisade here. Looks like he is... It looks like he's just clipping it, but yeah. So he wants to be able to get into the flank of these Flayed Men. With this attack. I mean, it really is not overly necessary. The only thing it'll really do is get him a little bit safer. But realistically, if he were to come to the other side of Drogon, he would be protecting the objective from a charge from the mountain in the Red Cloaks. We see a Fire and Blood being played for a reroll on the charges. And he is in with a 5. And with 2 hits, that will be enough to kill off the Flayed Men. Removing these Flayed Men now, and then the Surge Forth from Rhaegal. We got into a position where he will have a chance to charge the Red Cloaks on his next turn, on the next round, if need be. This will push the score at the end of the round to a 7-8. So Bolton Skincare needs to kill a dragon. He needs to kill a dragon and force it to drop an objective while still holding onto an objective of his own. So we see Joffrey coming down onto the maneuver zone. These Red Cloaks will likely be maneuvering closer to Drogon. He is forcing out the panic test from the Red Cloaks. Which will be a pass on a 5. Charles, no, he gets the 1 victory point for killing the unit. Yeah. So 2 dragons have tokens, and the 1 point for killing the Flayed Men. It looks like we are seeing Barristan activate now. I'll be grabbing the bags. We'll see if he goes for healing up Drogon here. Back up to full health on all his dragons. We see Cersei coming down onto the crown. Likely going to try to stop this the panic test onto Drogon. Cersei's burning the last order token to grab another Hear Me Roar from the discard pile. Now Barristan did influence Drogon, and Hear Me Roar would be targeting Drogon, so he can pass. That's a fail. So that is a pass there. I'm not quite sure what just happened there. I think the play was Cersei grabbing the crown to play an assault order and a Drogon, which will force a panic test onto Drogon, which was just rolled. And a pass. Hear Me Roar spent, and Barristan spent as well. He is 9 inches away, so that charge is actually illegal. Yes, he is not close enough to actually make the charge with assault orders. So Chris is going to have to pull that back into his hand, I guess. Because he cannot declare the charge action. So we are down to the last couple activations for Groosalugg. Seeing Viserion activate. And just coming ahead 4 inches with a double maneuver while holding that objective. Gregor will be activating in his red cloaks to maneuver forward 2 inches on his own. Likely just some trade difficulties going on here, as we all know and love. Yeah, the restricted speed to 2 is definitely massive. So we see that would have been the panic test there, I believe, onto Drogon, which was a pass. The Blackguard here, looks like they're going to be moving forward, maneuvering to get closer into the fight. And with Groosalugg having the last 2 activations, he can just put Illyrio onto the tactics zone to heal up those, either to heal up those 3 remaining wounds on the Blackguard, or just grab some more tactics cards. His hand is empty, so he'll be refilling 4 anyway. It's probably not worth it to grab the cards now, unless he wants the token out onto those red cloaks. So we see Illyrio coming down here. And okay, he is drawing 2 and going to be putting out a token onto the red cloaks with Gregor for the weekend token coming down on them. I agree, Peter. That unit has been completely out of the fight. And they're a strong unit. They really wanted to be in there. The 2 victory points is definitely nice, but the fight happened here on this right flank. And that is not where they were. So both players will be scoring their 2 victory points. Groosalugg drawing back up to 4. He discarded a unstoppable advance. And Bolton Skincare drawing up his 2. Okay, that unit being out of the fight wasn't the issue. It's actually the only reason the game. He did stay a bit too far back. The game really started getting away from him when he tunneled on healing off of failed panic checks for dragons for some reason. Yeah, he put too much into healing on those failed panic checks. It looks like Bolton Skincare wants us to know that a Lannister will be paying his debts onto these Red Cloaks, as well as Drogon feeling the blood of the dragon. Yeah, going for those failed panics onto dragons was risky. I think also that going for the attack and not the retreat onto the objective might have been the wrong play. But I mean, like we said, being able to coach from home is much easier than being able to do it while playing. It definitely looks different for the players than it does for us. So, as the first activation of round 5, we are seeing Barristan come out. And I would not be surprised if he is going to be going down onto the maneuver zone. There's an interesting interaction here that could happen. If Bolton Skincare decides to charge Drogon, he can force him to drop the objective. But okay, yeah. So we see Barristan come down onto the crown. He's going to crown zap the Red Cloaks. He's just at this point trying to force a drop of a token. Ironically, though, like I was saying, if a charge off onto Drogon can occur to force this dropped token, he might have a chance to squeak out at least another round, but I don't think he survives round 6. And unless he kills a dragon on this turn, this will likely be the end of it. So we see a pass test onto the Red Cloaks. There were like 3 actions that were to heal a unit from failed panic instead of managing his turns to put High Sparrow on Dany and then just cheap crowning her. Yeah, Dany being over here with the corpse pile and the weirwood. I thought that test was already rolled. He must have rolled another one. Must have rolled something completely different. Okay, so that is a failed crown zap onto the Red Cloaks, forcing a drop of the objective. I'm not sure, Charles. I guess that was the crown zone from Barristan, but I thought we already saw that rolled. Assault orders now. I'm not 100% sure what that last panic check there was from. It must have been the crown zap. It does give him a better charge, and then he can grab it again after. But he goes for... Oh, it was the panicked token. Panic token spent on the red cloaks that caused the fail of the test there. So Joffrey grabbing some cards, putting out a panic on Drogon. I mean, very likely we can just see Tycho coming down onto the bags to get rid of that panic there. Yep. This unit, the red cloak, should be panicked again from Joffrey's activation. It looks like Joffrey is coming down onto Rhaegal, which is an odd choice. Let me just take Drogon's. Yes, he used the... Leave it there. Not charging into Drogon unless he's planning on trying to assault orders charge into here, kill him between two attacks, and then overrun into a dragon. Yeah, Sam, he did have the panic token on him. I totally forgot. You can panic Dany and make the attack on the dragon to heal even in combat. Yeah. 100% agree. You can zap again if you kill the dragon and surge forth. Yep. So we saw the panic test from the charge come out onto Rhaegal, which was a fail. A field to the crown played and denied by Barristan, and the charge going off, dealing an automatic 2 wounds to Rhaegal. So all he needs to do here is 3 wounds. We know that Firemade Plesh has actually been played twice. This might be the play. So another panic test onto Rhaegal from the attack. So we'll be seeing a panic test at a -3. I don't know why he's not rolling the D3. 6, which is a pass, because he has Furious Charge. Barristan was burned on a fealty to the crown. 7 dice hitting on 3s, spending the weakened. Oh, right, no rerolls because of going over the corpse pile. So 3 hits on a 4+, likely spending this vulnerable token. And that right there is a dead dragon. And here we see the overrun coming down for a charge off onto Viserion. No, it is not a static ability on Gregor. That is Gregor attachment that has the static ability of overrun. it is a tactics card for Gregor Commander. So I believe we are seeing a 4+ charge there. There will be a panic test being put out on... I would be surprised if it's not the Mother of Dragons that he wants to do it. I agree, it's very ugly, but as long as he can survive some attacks, he has 2 attacks he needs to survive from dragons. And he is panicking Drogon. I don't know if that's the right play. He hits him for 3 wounds. Oh my. He probably should have hit Viserion. I mean, realistically, he should have hit Dany and Mother of Dragons. To be just chipping damage off of her. But yeah, even if he fishes for the drop, the maneuver can grab it and then charge into the Red Cloaks on their activation. But we see this charge going off into Viserion. We're going to see another panic test come out. This one, I think we will likely see onto Viserion, forcing as many wounds onto it as possible. Or for the potential as many wounds as possible forced onto him. This will be a test on a 4+ because of the Weirwood Tree. And it is another failure for 3 wounds. Oh my god. Chris is pulling it back. So 7 dice here on a 3+. He will get his rerolls. Getting rerolls is very big here. For a total of 5 hits, he only needs to get 3 of these through. They're passing on a 4+ with a vulnerable. That vulnerable token will need to be spent. Can he do it? Can he do it? Oh my god, and there's another dragon dead. The mountain just being a monster. Wow, that is incredible. He will grab this objective for killing the unit, and then he gets a surge 4th. Now realistically, what he has to do here is pull far enough away from Dany that... No, there's not even a Dracarys. Oh, no Dracarys has been played yet. Ooh. Now, Chris is definitely maneuvering too far here. He would have grabbed that objective from the attack on the Surge 4th. The Surge 4th will proc a panic test again. Full speed to go straight back to the far edge. The thing is, zapping them, should have taken the horse, ran away in the mountain with the tokens. Yeah. So we are seeing the charge come straight in. Whew. Should have been on the ground. You are right. It did fail it with the first one. I forgot about that first panic test. So it would be on the ground, not grabbed by the dragon. That is correct. This is the panic test on Drogon from the Surge 4th, which is a success. When a friendly unit is destroyed. So the Blood of the Dragon card will actually have an order token on it, so +1 attack die. Means it's very unlikely to fail, and -1 wound from failing panic checks would be actually potentially important here. The question here becomes, can Chris save a panic test from an attack from a dragon? Because he only has Chris only has 2 activations left, where Groose has 3. We see Tycho coming out for the heal. I think what we're going to see is Groose is going to try to Intrigue and Subterfuge coming out from Chris to block the heal from Illyrio. But I believe what we're going to see here is that Mother of Dragons is going to try to steal the objective back from the Red Cloaks. I think that's what that heal was going for. Unless he's worried about a charge into Mother of Dragons. We see the field control. Drops a token to the dragon and did nothing else. Chris would just kill the dragon next turn as he's player 1 and still win the game. No, because if he drops the token to the dragon claims it, and you're right, is only at 1 point. So Groose needs Mother of Dragons to claim this objective. You see Illyrio doing the maneuver for Mother of Dragons here, making sure that she is unchargeable. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Charles. Groose needs to kill Gregor here. Essentially. So Chris's best scenario might be essentially to maneuver and run away from Drogon in a way that he cannot be charged. he needs to... If he were to bring up this pivot arc... Sorry, the attack arc here. Drogon can get into his flank. The biggest problem here comes from the fact that Drogon will likely be able to get off 2 attacks, as we have not seen any Dracarys played, unless Dracarys is one of these last 5 cards in the deck. I think what Chris needs to do is either come back out, keep Dany as far away from Drogon as possible so he doesn't get that double attack, or get in close and try to hope that the palisade can block him. Moving close to Mother of Dragons, I feel like, is the wrong play here. Because we know that Dracarys has not been played. The maneuver will cause a panic check. Just needs to go straight back, basically. You have to measure it out, but I think he can get there. Seems to keep wanting to come closer to Mother of Dragons, though, and I'm not sure why. And he's trying to force himself to be unchargeable, rather than getting himself out of range of Daenerys. The front charge will put Dragon on a palisade. Yeah, he's trying to deny the charge. I think that he'll be able to get into the flank. Unless Chris can pivot more and still be onto this objective. Dany charging and stealing does win the game for Groose if that happens. But if Groose destroys the palisade, then Gregor can easily charge into... Oh no, this is the mountain's activation here. This is not a Surge Forth. I think what we're trying to see here, he's trying to remain unchargeable in the front. Maybe attack ruler up. If he can get unchargeable, and it looks like he will be unchargeable there in the front. We'll just have to double check the alignment in the front of his tray. Yeah, if Dany can attack with more ranks, albeit potentially the better play would have been Cersei. I don't know what was just rolled there. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Charles. If he had just gone straight back, it wouldn't have mattered if he was unchargeable or not. We'll see if Groos can figure this one out, but panic from the dragon on the red cloaks. I think that if he does a panic, he should be putting it onto Daenerys. He can't kill the dragon, as it has the -1 wound from Blood of the Dragon. So if he's going to be putting a panic test out, which I don't believe he has a Hear Me Roar, he has no cards in hand. So if he were to put it onto Mother Dragon, she's likely to fail and then take at least 1 wound. Yeah, that must have been the dice we heard rolling. I suppose we see coming in, destroying that palisade. Cersei activating to do nothing. And now we'll see if the test, see if this attack can do enough damage. We're seeing 6 attacks on a 4+ with Vicious. Yeah, I agree. It must have been a random check. Was the panic check on the dragon? We see it at 5 wounds currently. That must be what it was. I believe that was just a disorder charge there from Daenerys into these red cloaks. So only getting 4 hits. 4 attacks on a 4+. Taking 3 wounds. No, I do believe that was the Red Cloak's activation. Panic test coming down. A failure on a 7. Or a pass. Sorry, a pass because of the Weirwood Tree. Still a pass. But Daenerys will grab the objective because she has more remaining ranks. And that ends the game right there, 11-9. So we're going to jump in and talk to these guys and see how they thought the game went.
I had to do, and it was like...
Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Oh.
Hey.
That was one hell of a game, guys.
I got a little exciting at the end.
Yeah.
You almost brought it back there, Chris. Everyone in chat was cheering for you at the end.
Boo.
You know what? I gotta say this. I gotta give credit to Craig here for destroying that palisade, because that did not even occur to me. That was like a clutch play. I was
gonna do it. I was gonna do it the other way, but then I realized the rank thing, and I was like, oh, I actually. Fuck.
So the remember
game.
the panic test that I told you to take with Drogon after the maneuver, the last one that you took wounds for, I should have did it here if I would have saw that play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
I should have done it there.
Mattered because if I'd failed it, then I would have had less ranks to. I wouldn't have been able to steal it back without him. I would have had to. You would have had to roll this as a you would have had to fail that test and roll that as a 3.
The failed panic test alone would have caused you to take the objective, but yeah.
I guess if he had failed, but he didn't fail it. I made him roll it anyways. So,
but that was one heck of a game, guys. I'm very happy that you guys let me stream this. Charles saying 1000%. That was a fantastic game. Yeah, congratulations to you both.
Yeah, well done, Groos. That was a fun match.
You made it interesting.
I had a lot of fun.
I definitely fucked up. I guess putting Rhaegal in. Well, maybe the biggest fuck up was just letting your mountain be maneuverable, because once I had the activation advantage to just like that's why I was thinking I took the crown just because like I was like take rid of the possible way to me to drop a token. I can't really lose, but
Well, I was gonna
I
say
gave you the ability to charge.
I was gonna say I was being joking, or I was joking when you said that you were gonna have me re-roll the panic test because I passed it on the crown. I was like, oh, please fail. And because I was like, this is my only way back in the game right now is playing that.
Yeah.
And I also maybe should have let you keep those 3 wounds and not let you like just hold it for an overrun. You kill my guy, then you don't overrun me, and then I get to.
Yeah.
So it's I wasn't expecting Rhaegal to be in danger. I was like, oh, if you charge Drogon and you kill him, that's not the end of the world, and if you don't kill him, then you're pretty fucked because I have Jacaerys. I drew both Jacaerys at the end.
Oh man,
I was expecting both of them to come out. I was expecting you, and so was Charles, that you might maneuver your red cloaks further away from Daenerys, rather than coming towards to try to make them unchargeable on the palisade, pulling backwards so that you wouldn't have been in range for Dracarys.
Either way, no matter where I'd go, he was going to come in, and he was going to most likely make me drop the token.
Yeah, so, I don't think he could have lost the thing, got out of range.
Another play would have been, the mistake was putting the token closer to the palisade.
Yeah, that worked out. Like, the fact that it was there worked out for me.
All right, guys. Well, that was a fantastic game. Charles, if you want to shout out anything, I know you have quite a big following in a channel. If you want to give yourself a quick shout out here.
Oh, yeah. My YouTube channel is Sunday Slaughter. If you guys don't know about it, I do battle reports regarding the song, A Song of Ice and Fire PMG. So, Sunday Slaughter on YouTube. You can find it. I've got a podcast as well. Co-host is Charles. I think you said he was watching the game, so
yep.
Shout out to him.
All right, guys, thank you so much for the fantastic game you let me stream here, and good luck to you both in the rest of the tournament.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for streaming.
Yeah, thanks for streaming. I'm gonna have to watch back all my mistakes.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
We'll say good night to everyone.
Guys.